1,000. 1,000 matches in the storied history of the FIFA World Cup, and Japan chose this stage to deliver an absolute masterclass. 4 goals, no mercy. Tunisia completely dismantled. But wait, if you think that was the only story of this remarkable day, Curaçao, a tiny Caribbean nation of just 150,000 people, earned their very first World Cup point in football history. Morocco stunned Scotland in 71 seconds flat. Germany clawed back from the edge of disaster. Today was packed, dramatic, and utterly unforgettable. You do not want to miss this one. Welcome to SoccerVault, your home for everything World Cup 2026. I'm bringing you every single result from today, breaking down the key moments, the standout performers, and the biggest talking points, and then I'm going to walk you through 3 absolutely massive fixtures coming up tonight. Subscribe if you haven't already, because this tournament is moving fast and we are covering every inch of it. Let's get into it. Today's results, match by match. We begin in Group C, Morocco versus Scotland. And if you were a Scotland supporter settling in for kickoff, I genuinely feel for you because you barely had time to blink. 71 seconds. That is all the time it took for Morocco to break the deadlock. 71 seconds into a World Cup match, barely enough time to find your seat and crack open a snack, and the Moroccan faithful were already on their feet celebrating. The goal was exactly what you'd expect from this Morocco side. Quick, precise, devastating. The Scottish keeper had no chance. What followed was a gritty, combative affair, with Scotland trying to find a way back in, and nearly getting a penalty that could have changed everything. VAR was consulted. The Scottish bench were furious. The referee waved play on. Honestly, it was a call that could go either way, but the fact remains, Morocco were the better side from the first whistle to the last, 1-0 to the Atlas Lions. Group C is alive, and Scotland know they need a miracle to progress. Moving on, Group E, Germany versus Ivory Coast. Now this was a match with a completely different complexion. Ivory Coast drew first blood and, for long stretches of this game, looked like they were about to pull off one of the genuine shocks of the tournament. Germany were flat, uninspiring, not the machine we know they can be. The Ivory Coast midfield was winning second balls, pressing with intensity, and, for much of the first half, the Elephants deserved their lead. But then, Deniz Undav happened. The Stuttgart striker had been borderline invisible for 60 minutes, drifting in and out of the game, offering very little. And then, in the space of about 20 minutes, he became the entire match, a clinical equalizer. Then, when it seemed like a draw was the most likely outcome, Undav popped up again. A second goal, a double, and Germany were back. The comeback was brutal, it was clinical, and it sends a message to every team in Group E. Do not write Germany off. They always find a way. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for. The 1,000th FIFA World Cup match of all time, and the team that got to play it, Japan, against Tunisia, in Group F. And Japan, they absolutely, emphatically, rose to the occasion. From the 4th minute, Daichi Kamada was already on the scoresheet. The fastest goal in Japan's World Cup history. Tunisia were still adjusting, still finding their shape, and already a goal behind. The Samurai Blue never looked back. Ayase Ueda fired a brilliant angled effort from outside the area in the 31st minute to make it 2, a goal of real quality, the kind of strike that gets replayed 100 times. The second half offered Tunisia little comfort. Junya Ito rolled the ball past the Tunisian goalkeeper in the 69th minute, cool as you like, and then Ueda, magnificent throughout, arguably the performance of the tournament so far, completed his brace with a precise header in the 83rd minute. Japan 4, Tunisia 0. Tunisia are eliminated. Japan surge above Sweden into second place in Group F. And the 1,000th World Cup match goes down in history exactly as it should, as a statement of intent from a nation determined to show the world that Asian football has truly arrived. Last, but absolutely not least, Ecuador versus Curaçao. On paper, this looked like a formality. Ecuador are a South American nation with genuine World Cup pedigree. Curaçao, a Caribbean island making their very first appearance on football's biggest stage. This was supposed to be an easy 3 points for Ecuador. Nobody told Eloy Room, Curaçao's goalkeeper, who plays his club football in the Belgian top flight, produced one of the most remarkable individual goalkeeping performances this entire tournament has seen. 15 saves, 15 saves. He was everywhere. He threw himself at shots. He came off his line to collect high balls under intense pressure. He made a save in the 88th minute that had even the Ecuador fans applauding. When the final whistle went, the score was 0-0, and the Curaçao players wept on the pitch. First ever World Cup point. First ever World Cup clean sheet. On the 1000th day of their football history on this stage, a group of players from an island of 150,000 people stood alongside the giants of the game and refused to be beaten. This is what the World Cup is for. Biggest talking point. Let's sit with that Japan performance for a moment, because I think it deserves more than just the scoreline. The 1000th World Cup match. That number carries weight. The very first World Cup match was Uruguay versus Belgium, back in 1930 in Montevideo. Back then, 13 teams. Today, 48 nations, 3 host countries. The tournament has grown beyond recognition, but the big question has always been, has the balance of power shifted with it? For years, decades, Asian football was dismissed. The happy draw mentality. Teams that came to defend, absorb, and nick a result. Japan changed that conversation tonight. They didn't sit deep. They didn't park the bus. They pressed. They attacked. They created chance after chance, and they finished with a ruthlessness that any European heavyweight would be proud of. Japan at this World Cup are not here to make up the numbers. They are here to win. And with South Korea, Australia, and Japan all making waves in this tournament, the message is becoming impossible to ignore. Asian football has evolved rapidly, dramatically, and anyone who doesn't take Japan seriously heading into the knockout rounds is making a very dangerous mistake. Upcoming fixtures preview. Right, tonight, 3 fixtures. 3. And all of them matter enormously. Get your alarms set. First up, Spain versus Saudi Arabia, midnight Singapore time, Group H. And let me be blunt about where Spain find themselves. This is a crisis match. After their humiliation at the hands of Cape Verde, 0-0 against a team ranked far below them with a 40-year-old goalkeeper playing the match of his life, Spain simply cannot drop points again. Their tournament-winning credentials took a massive hit, and the pressure on this squad is immense. Saudi Arabia, meanwhile, drew with Uruguay in their opener and will arrive in Atlanta with absolutely nothing to lose. They beat Argentina at Qatar 2022. They know how to cause shocks. My bold prediction? Spain finally wake up from their stupor and deliver the performance we know they're capable of. 2-1 to Spain, but it will be nervous, uncomfortable, and it will go to the wire. Next, Belgium versus Iran. 3 in the morning, Singapore time. Group G. And this might be the most intriguing fixture of the entire day. All 4 teams in Group G, Belgium, Egypt, Iran, New Zealand, went into match day 2 tied on 1 point each. 1 point each. Every single group match is, effectively, a final. Belgium drew with Egypt in their opener and were not convincing. Iran held New Zealand to a 2-2 draw in one of the most dramatic games of the first round. Now these 2 sides meet, and nobody is safe. Nobody is guaranteed anything. Belgium have the quality to dominate. Kevin De Bruyne's influence in central midfield is still the key factor, but Iran have shown they can compete and score goals. My prediction, Belgium win it, but only just. 1-0, hard-fought, and with nerves throughout. And finally, the one I am most excited about, Uruguay versus Cape Verde. 6 in the morning, Singapore time. Still Group H. The same Cape Verde that held Spain 0-0. the same Cape Verde that had an island nation celebrating like they'd won the whole thing. Uruguay are a completely different animal. They have Nunez, they have Valverde, they have decades of World Cup experience, but Cape Verde have Eloy Room in goal. And we just spent 5 minutes talking about what he did against Ecuador. Uruguay to win this one? They're too good not to, but I'm backing a 2-1 scoreline, and I fully expect a moment of chaos that has everyone talking tomorrow morning. This is the World Cup. Expect the unexpected. Outrow plus CTA what? A day. From Morocco stunning Scotland in 71 seconds, to Germany's dramatic comeback, to Japan making the 1000th World Cup match historic, to Curaçao breaking our hearts in the best possible way. Day 11 of this tournament has delivered everything. And tonight, even more. Make sure you are subscribed to SoccerVault right now. We will be breaking down all 3 of tonight's matches as they happen, and you do not want to miss a single second of this. Drop your prediction for tonight's games in the comments below. I want to know, which match are you most excited about? See you very soon. This is SoccerVault. Let's go. Badraso, on to.